Aniseed is a stack-based rigging framework. As a rigger, you add components onto the stack, defining requirements and options for each component to help tailor the build that takes place. Components can be rig parts, such as what we see here. We have a spine, an arm, a hand, leg. Further down we have head, eyes, mouth, etc. But they can also just be processes because they're just simply encapsulated bits of code. For instance, the stack itself is organised using these organisers. So we have this organiser here, which is make rig editable, and an organiser here, which is building the control rig. But the organiser itself is just a component, and it's a component that doesn't actually invoke any code in itself. Other components, such as store shapes, goes through a control rig and stores the control shape data. Later on in the build, you can see we've got another one which applies that same data back onto the rig. So there's no restriction as to what a component can do, and in this way the components themselves can be used to define the rig building workflow. This we can see in practice here, where we've got the concept of making the rig editable. I can right click this and choose to build this section. That will go through and execute each component within that section, which puts the rig into an editable state where I can start to manipulate joints and placements. Equally, I can right click the build control rig section and choose to build that. That will go through each component and generate the control rig over the top. And therefore the concept of Aniseed is simply that we have an execution stack that we can run from any point, and through that stack, on execution, it will execute each component in turn. And each component has requirements and options, as we saw earlier, which allow us to tailor what that rig part looks like.